Yeah, we're still talking cricket on this Christmas Eve edition of the SportsMax Zone. Hosts India were again too good for the West Indies, beating the Caribbean women by 115 runs in the second one-day international played at Vadodara in the state of Gujarat to secure the series win. Here's Gerard Morris-Seeley with the recap.
West Indies women entered the second ODI hoping for a series leveling win, just as they did in the T20 series. For the first time, though, it was India who won the toss and unsurprisingly elected to bat. Smriti Mandana and Pratika Rawal again put on 110 for the first wicket, with Mandana the early aggressor with 53 from 47 deliveries, before Rawal pushed on to her maiden ODI half-century, 76 from 86. The Indian top order improved on their showing from the first ODI, with 4 scoring over 50. Harleen Doyle stood out with an impressive innings, hitting 16 fours in a 103-ball knock of 115, her maiden ton coming up in the 35th over. Doyle was removed by Aliyah Allen in the 48th over with a score on 331 for 4, but the damage had already been done. And Jemima Rodriguez would cap off a great day at the office with 52 for 36 balls for the Indians, who piled up 358 for 5 of their 50 overs. St. Lucian debutante Narissa Crafton didn't have to wait long for her time in the middle, coming in at 3 after the dismissal of Kiana Joseph for 15. She fit right in. The 26-year-old was aggressive, hitting 3 boundaries before being dismissed for 17 of 13. After slumping to 69 for 4, Captain Hayley Matthews decided to pick up the pace. She shared in an important 112-run 5th wicket stand with Shemaine Campbell, who was next best scorer with a 38 from 48 deliveries. Matthews going on to reach a joint Windies record, 7th women's ODI century, which came up in the 35th over.
Brilliant 100 from the skipper.
The captain went on to be dismissed for a top score of 115, while Zeta James and Afi Fletcher delayed the defeat with 25 and 22 respectively. Priya Mishra was the best Indian bowler with 3 for 49, as West Indies were bowled out for 243 in 46.2 overs to lose by 115 runs, and the series 2-0 with the final ODI set for Thursday.
Yeah, I think you never want to finish the first innings of an ODI chasing 350 plus. Kudos to their batters. I think they've obviously got some very talented players who've really stepped up over the last 2 matches. But yeah, we're going to have to find some ways, I guess, to restrict them a bit more and take some more early wickets as well.
I think what we were expecting, we exactly did that, and really happy the way our openers give us a stand again, 100-run partnership, and after that Helene's batting, and then Jamie was also there to support the team. I think it was something which we were expecting, and really happy the way we batted.
All right, another massive defeat there for the West Indies women as India take a 2-0 lead in the series. Let's get the thoughts of cricket commentator Nikhil Uttamchandani. Nikhil, how do you compare today's performance to the first one-day international?
Yeah, massive improvement, Ricardo, in the batting. Unfortunately, when it comes to the holding of length and that consistency that the 50-over format, slightly longer than the T20 format requires, I think that's still where the West Indies are missing. And it made me think, I know yesterday we had the conversation about starting at the regional level. I mean, you look today at the difference between the 2 seam attacks. And I know the West Indies are without Chanel Henry, and she's been a big part of their new ball plans. But I do think that we have to look regionally at the next crop of seam bowlers to support the likes of, what we have now. And I think you have DeAndre Dottin, you have Chanel Henry, who bowls predominantly the new ball. Who can we get, whether it's a Sharianne Fraser, whether it's a Jazara Claxton, who is going to play the Under-19 World Cup? Who can we develop to come in and apply some skill with the new ball, but then have the ability to vary the pace like we saw from the Indians today? I think you really look at the 2 innings, the bowling effort, it was chalk and cheese, and that's where they need to be aspiring to if they want to become, one of the better teams in the world.
Is there a difference, in your opinion, Nikhil, in the overall quality of the batting as well? So I know that in the West Indies batting lineup, there are players, capable of hitting the ball through the field, over the field. But in many instances, I question the technical ability to last. So yes, that will work in my opinion for a T20 game. But do we have enough batters with the technical ability capable of lasting 50 overs consistently?
I think there's certainly an issue of trusting defense, like we've discussed, you know, with the men's game in the T20 format. But you look at the shot selection, and it could be harsh because, you know, the batters would say in both games they've chased over 300. But you look at sort of when periods have gotten tough and pressure has been raised, the option for the West Indian women has been to sort of try to hit out and counter-attack, as opposed to absorbing like Hayley Matthews did so well at certain stages and then be able to capitalize on the back end. I thought Shemaine Campbell defended the ball well. Obviously, she's more experienced. But certainly when you look at the shot selection of the top five in both ODIs, we certainly can question when there are conducive conditions, and it was a good batting trap. But there was a slight bit of movement for the seamers and a bit of spin I saw from the leg spinner. When there is that just slight tad of difficulty in the surface, it seems to be a deficiency with the West Indian women trusting their defence, and I thought that was quite clear.
Yeah, but could that be caused, Nikhil, by an inability to access all areas of the field? You look at the Indian batters, for example. We see it as well when you see Australia play. You've seen it with some of the best New Zealand batters over time. Same with the England batters, where they are able to access different parts of the field. Yesterday, you spoke about Smriti Mandana and her ability to score in front of the wicket consistently and behind square if she has the opportunity to do that as well. I am not currently convinced that there are enough players in the West Indies women's setup who can do that. And so when pressure hits, the options become limited, and so they go for that massive shot that ends up being their undoing.
Yeah, and I would add to that, precision and strike rotation is also areas of weakness. And I think it starts with the regional coaches, and at the regional level, when we get to a regional Super 50, can we prioritize, similar to how we've included the bonus point system in the men's Super 50, to try to promote strike rotation in the middle overs? I think you look at 128 dot balls for the Indians. They were so efficient. Even when Jemmy Rodriguez comes to the crease, and she's obviously looking for the boundary, she's so efficient at working the ball past fielders, being precise enough to be able to get the ball into gaps for two. And Zeta James, who we're seeing now, I think her skill set, although 25 today is her highest score, I think what I've seen from her with the ability to sweep the ball prolifically against the spin, but also she really surprised me with her stroke play through extra cover and down the ground. I think batters like her who can maneuver the ball into gaps, but then bring enough intensity to run between the wickets, I think that has been a big problem for the West Indies. Having players fit enough that can run between the wickets and bring that extra bit of intensity, because it puts fielders under pressure. You only have to look at the partnership between Hayley Matthews and Shemaine Campbell to see how much all of a sudden India were misfielding. So I do think it's certainly an area of improvement, but it has to start regionally.
Yeah, and since you touched on Zeta James, you know, we started having the discussion yesterday, and you had suggested that hopefully she will grow into a situation where she can be inside the top four. And because you said that yesterday, Nikhil, I took a really close look at her today. And what I see is a batter who has the technical ability to be inside the top four in 50-over cricket, and maybe even potentially when the West Indies play Test cricket in the cycle, that she is a top four batter. Maybe she should be the one opening alongside Hayley Matthews because of all the things that you just suggested, her ability to hit through the field, to maneuver the ball, to run between the wicket. I don't know, but I just saw her today and wondered, why is this girl not in the top four?
I think I personally, Ricardo, I enjoy her coming in the middle. I think she could go up a few places. But the reason why is because where majority of the spin will bowl is obviously after the 10th over. And I like that she really sweeps the ball. I think she's probably one of the better maneuvers of the cricket ball when it comes to that West Indies batting lineup. I like what Kiana Joseph has brought to the West Indies with her power game. I think the next step for her is to find the right balance and be able to shuffle through the gears a bit more. It just seems like everything is up here and she's going to look to hit every single ball to the boundary. But obviously, her fitness must come into play, as we saw her run out in the first ODI. And hopefully with that, she'll be able to find a better balance. And I thought Narissa Crafton, with a couple of shots she played today, it was a promising sign. But again, how do we get, I mean, as you said at the beginning of the show, you have Indian batters where one person gets 100, 3 batters are getting to half centuries. Who else other than Deandra Dottin and Hayley Matthews can get to a 50 in 50 over cricket? I think that is the big challenge for the West Indies.
Yeah, big challenge indeed. So let's talk about Hayley Matthews then, because it was quite a brilliant knock from her today. Her 7th one-day international century, joining Stefani Taylor as the most successful century makers for the West Indies in this format of the game. Only Deandra Dottin with 3, and believe it or not, Juliana Nero with 1. The other West Indians who have scored ODI centuries on the women's side. But it was a real quality knock from a quality player, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the biggest standout and some of the best players in the world, I think more probably for Hayley Matthews, the way that she manages the responsibility. I mean, there are always wickets going on at the other end, and she would know that they need 10 and over. There's immense pressure on her. Basically, it's Hayley Matthews or bust when Deandra Dottin gets out. And I mean, the immense pressure that she has battled this year and still continue to flourish. I think when you look at and think about years past, the thing that separated her from the Nat Siva Brunts, the Laura Woolvarts, the Smriti Mandanas of the world, Shamari Atapatu, was the convergence. And this year, she's finally been able to find the right rhythm and balance to be able to go on and get big hundreds. I think in Pakistan, we saw her get to 140 a couple of times, not just getting to 100, but getting as deep as possible in the innings. And it's the first time in her career that she scored more than 1 ODI 100 in a year. The key thing I love is the strike rate has also gone up. Her career strike rate is around 70. She's striking at 90 this year. So not only is she scoring big runs, converting, but she's also doing it a lot faster as well. I think just underscores her brilliance, man. We are privileged to be able to have someone like Hayley Matthews in the West Indies team.
Yeah, now we just need about 3 more of her. Nikhil Uttamchandani are wishing you all the best for the holiday period. Hope you get some rest. And we'll be talking more cricket on Friday, because the West Indies women will be back in action on Thursday to close out this India tour.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to the SportsMax family, Ricardo. I know they work tirelessly, unlike you, to make sure this show goes on every day, and they deserve a break. So Merry Christmas, guys.
Yeah, of course. I only come here at 4:30 and appear on the television, and I don't do anything. Right, Lance?
Absolutely not true. Go ahead.
It's break time. Bye, Nikhil. Have a good one.
Enjoy, guys.